Hello, gorgeous Taurus family, and welcome to September 2019. Wild. Wild that we are here in the month of the equinox, a time of balancing, of harmony, of checking in, of nurturing. And of course, this is energy that works with you because it's Virgo season, a time of heart chakra opening for Tauruses, a time of deep connection to your roots. The astrology is nurturing, generally speaking, in September. It brings us back to a grounded wholeness. We move from Virgo season into Libra season, and then Libra wants that balance, wants that harmony, and we need a month like this, I think, after the power and the intensity of June, July, and August, with so much truth coming to the surface, with so much revolution. I know you Tauruses have been through a ton of change and transformation and identity and goals over the several months leading up to this. We have a full moon in Pisces on the 14th, which is in your 11th house of your community. It's going to be illuminating what you want that to look like, what you want your lifestyle to look like, who you want surrounding you. Saturn is going direct in Capricorn, your fellow earth sign, after a long, gentle retrograde over the last several months. And then, of course, we move into Libra season on the 23rd with a Libra new moon on the 28th. The world popped out first. You've been getting the world a lot. I feel like Taurus and the world are deeply linked over the last year or so. There's been this big shift over happening from one energetic cycle to another, and that always takes months, sometimes years. It really depends. But there's been that big doorway energy for you guys for a while, right? The note I have for you, with the context of this being a calibrating, equalizing, harmonious, balancing, nurturing, root-focused month. King of Pentacles and Six of Cups. Okay. I like it. The note I have for you is that creative self-nurturing is how you're actually going to find your path moving forward. It's not going to be in being busy, Page of Swords, externally to yourself, all day, every day. The energy in September wants you to focus in on your heart and what you want to create from that space. Not only in your creative visions and what you see for that on like a literal creative level, but also how you want to create your life, create your relationships, create your spaces, create your schedule, create all of that. How you want to find harmony. And your heart is your leader. You are heart-centered people anyway. You're not ruled by the heart. However, you are deeply connected to that part, devil. And your heart has a really beautiful wisdom. I'm sure you've all noticed that when you check in with that heart space. You have a lot going on in your mind, or you're feeling really tired or frazzled and you've been running around a lot or focusing on other parts of life and you haven't checked in with your heart for a few days or something, or maybe a week or two. Ooh, Four of Wands. I like it. You got dynamic energy, Taurus friends. I tell you, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of oppositional forces that are pulling and trying to get clarity. And then, you sit down in the quiet and you just let this speak right here. Quite literally, taking those deep breaths into your belly, through your chest, and you listen. Heart wisdom always has a simple, kind way to move. Nine of Pentacles, Ten of Swords. Let's pull one more, and then we'll talk through this. Knight of Pentacles. A lot of earthy energy in this reading and a lot of reflective energy. But your heart wisdom can give you guidance from anything from don't worry about going to that event tonight to eat a piece of fruit to you need to let somebody know something true for yourself, right? So heart can guide in so many gentle, beautiful ways, and that is really your signpost this month. Let's talk through these quite complex energies, Taurus, because you do have such an interesting combination of forces at work with you. You have so much good building and culminating, and you're also checking in with old containers. That's the way I'd put it. Old containers for things. Your shape has changed so much that the containers, like your frequency shape, the shape of your thoughts, the shape of your life has changed so much. The containers that they once fit in don't anymore. And there's this awkwardness going on with that, right? Maybe that's not the best way to put it, but you are in world. The world is your first card out. That says something to me, because that tells me that this is more than just a month of like nurturing and root work. I mean, it is that. This is also a month of doorway, right? The world is a really giving doorway energy. It is a very nurturing doorway energy, but there is always this sense, if you're working with this as a predominant energy, which when the first card out is the world, we're going to call this predominant. There's no going back, right? And there's kind of this moment, whether that's your heart speaking or if it's your spirit council or something in your mind or your body, it says, okay, here we are. We're at this gateway. And you kind of have to choose now. Are you going to go back or are you not? And I think sometimes we can get really scared at this point when we realize that that's kind of where we are in the process, right? We're not always at this clear, crisp point of the process. And sometimes when we get here, we're scared that when we commit fully to that doorway, that things may fall apart, or that we will miss something, or we will miss a piece of information, we'll miss a piece of knowing, we will miss something that we need in order to move through the world. But the message that's coming through right now is that it will be okay to release. The next three cards are really profound and quiet, actually. It's kind of like a whisper. So the King of Pentacles is here, and the King of Pentacles is deeply tied to Taurus. This is one of your icons in the deck. The Taurus way of being able to build, to nurture, to grow, to sustain long-range energy. To plant seeds and cultivate those seeds in long-range, thoughtful ways. And I think this is part of this world, right? This new world you're building, you're planting seeds now. So being highly aware of what seeds you're wanting to plant, being highly selective in the way you plant them. Once again, working from heart chakra. Those are where you're planting the seeds. From that authentic heart chakra. What is your heart actually saying you really want? And in that discernment process, which started in August and we're continuing it in September, the Six of Cups comes up. Now this card, whenever it comes up, I'm like, okay, we're hitting into something much more complex than just a surface level emotional nostalgia. This is a very seductive energy in the sense that it seduces us into thinking about the past as an idealized time, as something that held something that we need to go back to again and again. It's almost kind of like that movie Inception where he keeps meeting his wife in these different dream layers. And it's always this feeling of not being quite at ease. And not wanting to repeat over and over again, to replay over and over again all of this, right? What seeds are you planting? Now, there may be a little dip here. That full moon in Pisces, just in general, is going to be deeply emotional and really powerful. Just collectively, that is a full moon where emotions are coming up to be cleared out. I think for you, in your steadfastness and your clarity, something comes up to be cleared out with this Page of Swords. You can see it for what it truly is. Page of Swords can kind of bring in a wisdom or even like a confirmation through synchronicity or language that helps us see something and be like, yep, I was right. Okay, I am confirmed here in the physical, so that I don't just have to be in my intuitive all the time, that there's that little bit of help. That Page of Swords brings that breath of fresh air so that we can really see, yes, we are supposed to be moving forward. Yes. Yes, this is here. Yes, it can be honored. Yes, it can be loved for what it is. We don't have to live in it. We don't have to let it pull us back in. We can have both. We can have the memory. We can have the information, and we can have forward motion. And this is where that calibration is really coming in for you guys. Now, here's what's interesting. And this is where this reading has a lot of nuance to it. And I hope I can enunciate everything that's going on, because, okay, we've talked about this a lot with Taurus, you guys being overgivers and often sustaining energy for a lot longer than feels good to your authentic self. And moving forward into life. And then once you finally release yourself, there's so much relief and you feel so much relief. The Devil and the Four of Wands are really interesting because they're both tied to commitment. Long-term, long-range commitment, but you can see the vast difference between the Devil and the Four of Wands, right? The Devil comes with old patterning, obsessive behavior, and feeling like you have to do something because you're chained to it. I mean, of course, the Devil is about work ethic, about focus. Saturn is going direct in Capricorn in his home sign this month, and Saturn in Capricorn has been bringing up a lot of this theme for a lot of people. And, the Devil isn't just negative. There's work ethic, there's focus, there's groundedness, there's sitting with the shadow side and being able to love that part of ourselves. However, the Devil is also tied to how we see relationship, how we see commitment as a prison. And because we have this World energy and this King of Pentacles energy, which I was telling you, committing to these new patterns, committing to opening and closing that door behind you, it's like you're afraid and committing to that you are condemning yourself to something that you don't have control over. But here's the redirect. And these are things to just, witness in yourself when they're coming up. Because the one thing about September, I'm telling you right now, every single sign is having a piece of themselves brought up to be expressed and released, completely released. And for you, it has to do with commitment and what commitment means. And it's not just about relationships. It can be. But it's also about commitment to a project, commitment to a lifestyle, commitment to anything in your life, whatever it is that's really pinging at you right now. The Four of Wands is about jubilation and commitment. It is about celebration and commitment. It is about celebrating the fact that a commitment to a new doorway means that it's a series of practices. It's a series of explorations. It's not just a set in stone repetitive cycle. It's about exploring the horizons. Once you're committed into exploring into those horizons, you can open wide. One is about being trapped. One is about liberation via commitment. And this is a theme that's coming up. And like I said, I feel like it's going to affect different people differently. Obviously, every Taurus has their own story. You're all individual. But you look at this Devil who's haunting and lurking here, along with the Six of Cups. Repeating cycles, right? That's a big theme here. But then you look at these Four of Wands and this Nine of Pentacles. What do you see? Warmth. Light. Ease. The ability to take weight off your shoulders and have your heart open and not worry that it will be smushed or misunderstood. Curiosity. Play. Ease. Infusions of what you need on a practical level so that you can live a life of authentic happiness. Well, those ease cards are intertwined really deeply with two very heavy energies. I mean, the way that these cards came out, I think, is really interesting, don't you? I think the dark and the light have a beautiful relationship. They're in dialogue, in a beautiful, healthy dialogue. And not craving to be past everything and already healed. And just warmly accepting that we are in the process of shedding a skin, shifting the pieces, in that sweet surrender into that realization that maybe we are afraid of how much we're changing, how those containers are changing shape, that actually we're happier and more at ease than when we force something to be really happy and cheerful and go, 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 and I'm feeling so cute and I'm going to make myself into this cheerful bubble of something. That can often lead to deeper feelings of despair than when we just say, yeah, life is starting to work. Life is starting to feel pretty good. But I still have this weight on my heart because I haven't fully recovered and I don't feel totally ready to open the next door. What a relief it is, right? Like, just to say that and just be like, with no judgment, not to like linger in it, not to loll in it, not to feel darkness in it, but to just be like, yeah, but I also have this little bit of a internal death going on. I'm changing form. I'm grieving an old past version of myself. Even while this beautiful stuff is happening. There's so much ease and joy in that experience, and it has been demonized to welcome that in with warm, loving arms, and that's so much a part of this equinox energy. And I pulled a final card after Ten of Swords because I wanted to make it clear that the Ten of Swords is a closeout energy. It is, internal death. It is shedding of a skin, but the Knight of Pentacles is so nurturing. Take your time, my loves. Take your time. This is not a month to rush and to rush yourself and to put timelines on things. It is a time to slowly offer up ourselves to being beginners in a new time. And this is specifically for Taurus. I'm having a final card pull from my Cosmic Tarot because I think it's... Six of Swords came back. Well, we had Six of Cups. This is Six of Swords. The transmutation. The journey across the river. Now, of course, this visual is a little different than the Rider-Waite Six of Swords. But the concept here is one of transmutation, of leaving behind a shore, being in traveling mode from one shore to the next. There is no rush. There is no perfect time. There is no perfect end goal, other than that you are shifting form. And while you're shifting that form, it doesn't mean that you won't have the possibility of deep connection, of infusions of wealth, of happiness, of seed planting, of abundance. You can have all of this going on and still be in the middle of the river. And the more you embrace that you're in the middle of the river, the easier all these other beautiful things can connect with you. I have a couple affirmations for you all for this equinox month, for this time of balancing and calibration. I listen to my heart, and it gives me answers in small, loving ways. I use my creativity to move through the world. New pathways open up before me with ease. You are on a powerful journey, my friends. You really are. And give yourself that credit for doing that. I hope you have a beautiful September. You can find me on Instagram at Sarah Verba. I would love to see you there. You can also find me on my website, SARAHTAROT.com. I do one-on-one sessions. I'm still working on opening up my calendar for the fall. I'm working on my schedule. I will be opening up session slots for the last part of this year. If you are interested in getting notified when I open those up, because I haven't sent that out yet, you can email me and I will set you up for the notifications for that. I will leave all my info in the description box so you can get in touch with me. I am, of course, wearing PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry. She's really been focusing on those gorgeous crowns. She's a Taurus, by the way. And I highly recommend going and checking out her shop and seeing if you connect with her beautiful work. I will leave her Etsy shop below. I have a PayPal link if you're interested in donating to me and helping me keep moving this forward. All that information is going to be in the description box. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a beautiful September. I will see you for more moon magics and for more magic into October. And I'm sending you my heart on your beautiful journey.